History is no longer just a record, it's an asset. Think of that grainy film effect, or the warm crackle of vinyl simulated in an ad for some sleek new smartwatch. These aren't aesthetic choices, they're trust signals. We are sold the future by dressing it up like something familiar. In a world where every invention feels alien, we need reassurance that innovation is just evolution in disguise. The past becomes a brand asset, not to honor history, but to make the unknown feel safe. This is what Jean Baudrillard called the hyperreal. A past so perfectly simulated that it becomes more real than the actual thing. Take the Last Picture Show, made to look like a film from its own setting, or Barry Lyndon's, which feels less like history and more like a curated experience, without the emotional mess of being alive in an era. The past is no longer messy with human imperfection. It's a clean, repeatable format. And just like software updates, we get nostalgic errors polished to perfection, ready for mass consumption. The result is that we're no longer learning from the past. We're licensing it. We don't study history. We sample it like a DJ samples a classic track. This manufactured memory doesn't just shape what we see in our feeds. It shapes how we trust technology. When an AI assistant speaks with the warmth of 1970s radio, or an app looks like a Polaroid snapshot, we say, ah yes, this feels human. But really, it's just history being rebranded as heritage to make us more willing to surrender.
Early computers were clunky, slow, and unreliable, basically just big calculators with attitude. But they laid the groundwork for everything we take for granted today.
Think about it. Film grain wasn't once considered beautiful. It was a flaw, a limit of the medium. But over time, that grit became part of its soul. We associate hiss with authenticity, tracking errors with nostalgia, and all of these things were born from human limitation, not design. Now, they're copied by algorithms trying to simulate what we call real. So here's the twist. If a machine can replicate warmth, how do we know our affection for? It isn't just another illusion. The contrast between this 1940s clipped smooth voice over and modern AI generated speech highlights our instinctive trust in the imperfect, even if it's artificial. Back then, technology was all about precision. No hiss, no jitter, just clarity. Now we expect a touch of imperfection to make machines feel human. Instagram's film. Filters don't just mimic grain, they repackage limitation as authenticity. AIs. Voice models add vocal cracks and stutters.
sometimes I'm about to go meet another CEO. Sometimes while walking to the meeting, I'll ask Gemini, tell me what is something that could really be on his or her mind. And I get really insightful things, and which makes for a more human connection because that's actually what they are worried about.
Google CEO Sundar Pichai isn't nearly as well known as other tech CEOs, but Google is playing a massively important role in exposing everyday people to AI tools, and has the resources and talent to eventually win the AI race.
AI is now generating its own versions of history, not by remembering, but by simulating. When we train models on old texts, photographs, and audio recordings, we give them the power to imitate memory itself. They learn what it looks like for humanity to forget, to mythologize, to romanticize the past. The result isn't truth or even fiction. It's a counterfeit of continuity that makes new technologies feel as ancient as they do inevitable. Just this week, Google Photos rolled out a new AI-powered feature called Video Remix. It allows users to turn static photos into short, moving clips, replete with camera shake and grain, mimicking the look of old home movies. The tool doesn't just generate content. It fabricates memory by making you believe what isn't there. This is how we begin to trust the future. Not through novelty, but nostalgia. Not through innovation, but illusion. These algorithmic archives are not just for consumers. They're used to train models that must understand what the world looked like in previous centuries, even when the data is sparse, fragmented, or biased. We ask AI to imagine a past it was never part of, and then we take those inventions as evidence that our present technologies were always coming. The past becomes a tool for legitimacy, not history, but heritage.
In the first place, we can rectify current with it, converting AC to DC. We can do this merely by connecting an electronic tube in series with an AC circuit.
Trust has always been fragile, a signal bounced between observer and authority, truth and performance. What if we could design that bounce? If authenticity is now a design feature, if trust can be engineered into every grain of digital sand, then history itself becomes malleable. This changes how societies learn, remember, and believe. We no longer need real memories. We only need the sensation of memory. A past that looks old enough to feel real, built not from events but algorithms. The next phase isn't just faking artifacts of authenticity. It's building systems that require them to function. AI-generated documents must look real enough to pass academic scrutiny or legal authentications. This is not deception, it's infrastructure. We now treat fabricated history as a precondition for progress, not an obstacle to it. What happens when the tools we use to trust are also the ones that lie? How do we distinguish between what was and what was engineered? We are now in the era where the machine made past is not a trick, it's infrastructure. The line between past and future dissolves, but not in the way we expected. What remains of truth when the tools that preserve memory also create it? If every document can be retrofitted to support any ideology, how do we remember who we are? We may have mastered simulation, but at what cost to reality itself?